Hi everyone. Today we'll look at Python coding that include SQL statements, and therefore our Python code can access the database in MySQL. So how we can code? So knowing SQL, we need to do import some module. That module enables our Python code to access database. In order to access database, as we had the experience, that we need a credentials, right? So you guys need to use your credential for MySQL. Then using this imported module, we need to connect it to MySQL and express SQL statements. All right. So we will do everything without having to access database, MySQL, manually. Our Python can do everything that we want to do. Okay, so we need to execute a Python code. Then this Python code do execute SQL statements and receive the result and then display. So these things that we are going to do. The situation is like this. Suppose we have a laptop. In our laptop, we have MySQL database. The first thing that we have done so far is using the command line, we can access my database, which is here the case of number 1. We already done this, right? So far. So we create database, create table, we populate the data, and we issue SQL statements. And also, we looked at the user management and so-called authentication. And then we also studied the encryption. Part of the data needs to be encrypted if it is sensitive. So we looked at that so far. Today what we will do is we're going to do some of the Python codes. That codes on behalf of us access our MySQL database. Still everything is in local, right? So that is the case that we will look at. That's what we'll do here. Okay. The other possible situation is that our Python code can access the cloud database where there is a middleware. One of the typical middleware can be implemented in PHP. So let's say PHP middleware available, which sits behind a web server. Then our Python code can connect to PHP middleware. Then PHP middleware can connect it to my whatever the database sitting behind in this cloud computing servers. This type of things not discussed in this class, okay, but we have another class, IASP 555, which I usually teach in the spring semester, together with the iPhone apps developments. That's what we will do. Another possible case is that, let's say, if we have another cloud, Google Colab, okay? Google Colab is another cloud. Google Colab has, let's say, Python code. How this Python code can connect to my local database? That is possible. We may try this, but a little bit of the security issues, right? Because if we open our database to the Google Colab, which means open to the world, then our laptop device is not secure at all, right? There's another issue, but anyway, this is another possible cases. Number 4. All right, so what we will do, we're going to do this number 2 case. Little bit of coding in Python that can communicate with MySQL. First thing that we need to do is to install MySQL -connector Python. This should be installed. And then we need to import. If we install that, then the module can be imported by having this statement, import mysql.connector. So let's see what we will do. We need to import mysql.connector, and in order to connect the real database, remember that we need a credentials. So user equals JY-OON525, password JY-OON525, host that, and port that, and my database is this. That's what we did, right? So let's see. I want to open up Pfizer. Okay, so here is Pfizer. So first thing is that import mysql.connector. Connector equals mysql.connector and connect, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Discord, and I'm going to copy this, everything. Instead of this variable connector, let's change it to CNX. In this case, I need to be very careful. Oh, looks good. Okay, so I need to save this to .525 in class 424, and I would say DB creation.py. So there is a DB creation.py. Let's see if there is any errors. Oh, yeah, this is quote, but this is not quote. So we need to change this. Oops. Save again. Yeah, so far so good. So database actually connected, right? As you could see there. So what should I do? If my database is connected, then I need to get a cursor, right? Because my database is there. So CNX dot, there is a cursor. Cursor is a method. So that method, I need to get a cursor that pointing to my database. So I want to call that cursor. Cursor equals that. And then because I connected to database, so first thing that I need to do is cursor dot execute open, and then I can say show databases semicolon. So far so good, and see how if there is any error, then yeah, there is no error. So I need to get the database list, right? That's what we did, right? Then let's execute. The cursor itself has some of the result. So cursor dot, I need to fetch the result of that cursor. So let's say fetch all, and then I want to receive that as a result. Result is fetch all. Fetch all. Fetch all. Okay. After that, if I want to print, then I can say let's say the data bases available are, and then we can do format and result. Okay. So what I did is that I execute this database command. Show databases is the database command. So that sort of SQL statements embedded in this cursor execution. Cursor is a pointer. That pointer has a method available, which is execute. So I want to execute this command, show database. Then cursor holds the result. So I want to fetch all the result from the cursor. I call it result, and then print that. So I want to save this and see how it works. Connect this cursor. Somehow it is there, but right. Let's see if I can do. I'm not sure. Let's see what is the result. This is the result, right? That's not possible. So what if I do fetch one, only the first one? Still possible. It's not really. The list was. I think it should be. Let's say if I put here f string. Save this. Instead of 1. F string doesn't take this, so what I need to do is I want to put here result. Cannot code because it is incomplete. Oh, so I need to put this. Still the same. Let's see. Cursor. I think this is a method. Fetch all is a method. It's not the field. That may be the result. Okay, we got that. Database available is 505 DB, Sci 525, and some others, right? So Sci 25, Sci 525, that is the database that we want to do. So what we will do now is cursor dot execute. That's also function. In that function, I want to do say use the database called Sci 525. Okay, and then on the cursor dot exe, and then show tables. See if there is any tables. Same thing, result equals cursor dot fetch all, and then print, I would say, tables defined so far is, I want to do format and result. And hit return. Oh, tables defined so far is company, customer, products, purchase. Those tables are currently available, right? Yeah, this type of things is possible. So what I will do is, let's say initially we show databases that, and I want to create a database. I want to make this outside that the executable scope, and let's try from the beginning execute, and then we can do create database. What I will do is I want to make a create DB, and then DB name, and I will do create database, and then DB name dot format DB name, and then I have here create DB, then I would say Sci 525. I want to call this, I want to send the Sci 525 to this DB, this function. Then function takes that DB name and then create a database. Currently this database is already created. Already created, but if I want to recreate, there should be an error, right? See, that happens. So I want to call that, and see there is an error because 525 database name is here. 525 already exists. But what if I want to recreate? The thing that you need to recreate is this. I want to create database if what I will do, I want to drop database first, right? I want to drop cursor execute drop database, that one, format DB name, same DB name. I want to drop this and recreate, right? Here's the thing. If that is already dropped as a nothing such database available, very similar reason here. If I want to create database, but if database is already created, then there is an error, right? To avoid that, I want to first drop a database. But what if no such database available? To avoid that error, then you need to do if exists that database. If exists that database, then you want to drop. Because that is existed, because that is dropped, therefore, then we can create database newly, right? That is possible. That's what we want to do. See what happens here. Then I can say here, print I would say database is to dropped, and then I can say format DB name. I want to return some messages. So print again database is newly created. Okay. So save this and execute. Then database is dropped and database is created. Nice, right? So I want to comment this out, and I want to show my database. Let's see, my database really works that way. So I want to do cd usl local cd mysql cd bin, and then I do my SQL minus u jyoon 525 and password jyoon 525 and show databases. Then I have CY 525, right? Now I want to drop only, but not created, because I make here comments. So I want to drop database. So database is dropped only. So when I show that database, then there is no CY 525, right? There's no 525. But if I want to do this, save and execute all together, drop first and then create. What happens? if that is, if exists, drop. If it is not, then we don't need to drop. Unknown database 525 because that is not there. So drop database if it exists. If it is not existed, then we don't need to do this. So that should be okay. But why this is not going to work that way? Strange. But it should work if I do this. Oops. Cursor, execute the create database. Strange. Create database. Sorry. If it exists, then drop. If it is not exist, I'm not sure why it's not. So in this case, it should work, right? Because this is dropped and this is created. Anyway, create DB, and then we can make create tables. I want to send the cursor also. Maybe if a cursor is not cursor and database, because the cursor is defined here. So I want to send this cursor to this local function. Therefore, it should properly moving back and forth. Create table. We didn't define the data to create table. Create table. Let's make a create table. Cursor and table. Cursor and create data table. And I want to put here what I want to do. Table creation 1 equals create table. Let's say previously we had here company, customer, let's say company. Company. You know what I want to do is I think we had a homework number 4, there is a company creation. So I want to copy that and bring it here. So this is the creation. I want to send this TC1 and then table creation, table expression, creation expression is this, right? Create table expression. So what I will do is cursor dot execute, and then I want to do table create. Why this is not? Table create is executed. Before I do this table creation, I need to do here cursor.exe execute, and then we need to do use. I want to make here a variable, my database equal cy525, and then this will be my database. Again here, use my database. I want to use my database. So I want to change the database to cy525, and then I send the cursor and work in there, right? And if that is well created, then I would say cursor.execute, and then DESC format table name. What I will do here, I want to put here table name and TCL. Table name is tname equals company. So company send to this function together with the DDL expression, and then this guy receives table name and that table name here to show the description, and then I will do result equals cursor dot fetch all, and then print the schema of that table is that format tname and then result. How can I remove this? Okay. So if I execute that, unknown database, my database. Where is my database? Oh, use my database. This is not what I need to do. Is format my database. So 525 create table name create tables is not defined. Create tables. Create tables. Oh, here. I need to make function name should be the same. Okay, hit enter. All right. So what I did here is I create this database by sending cursor, table name, and creation expression. This is create table creation expression, and this is table name from there. And then another thing that you could do, rather than specify that there, I would say tc1.split, and then I want to take it from the third one, right? Company is the third one, so I send the third one. There's a TCL name. Or I don't need this, I simply use that here. Still the same, right? So show databases, then I have a CY525, use CY525, and show tables. I have one table just created, and description of that company. Table is this, name CEO, that has been returned here. The schema of the company is name variable 15, variable 15 no, and primary key none. This is a schema of that company table. Okay, so you can do this for all of the tables. I think this is what we want to do so far today. Okay. Yeah. So back to our another thing that I need to do here. So we did this. So instead of having here this, what I could do is that we can make a dictionary form. So we can say config, that's a dictionary forms, right? So another version of that is here is config. Instead of having this all, we can say I want to include that dictionary form config. I have all the database, right? Instead of my database, I can do here psi 525. Okay. So little more secure, right? Rather than spelling out in this function call, I want to make another dictionary store somewhere. I simply use it. Then that is much easier, right? And still, so what is, not 626, but I think 525. That is the error. So we can make work like this, right? But still, this is not, for security wise, this is not really secure. The best way is that, you know why? Because it's hard coded, right? This is hard coded, still hard coded credential. Is there any way that I can do like separate table? So credentials in a separate table. If it is the case, then it's much better, right? So I want to do comment this, and I want to make a separate table called, I want to copy that here. I want to make this my credential.py. So same thing here. As I said, localhost, user ID JY00 and 525, password is the same, database 520, CY525, and port number 3306. That is exactly same way here, right? But I want to save this. This is not needed, right? Because I commented this out. And I want to save this in the same place that I currently have. So that is 525 in class 424, where there is a db creation.py. I want to have that my credential.py. So my credential.py. Save. Okay. So here, simply what we need to do, if that is already there, then we don't need this. I want to do here cnx equals mysql dot connect within this parenthesis. I want to do user equals something, and then password equals something, and then host equals something, port equals something, and then database equals something. In order to do that, I want to also import that database, my credential.py. So I want to do my credential. Okay. So I want to import my credential, and then that my credential has the value here, MySQL underscore host. So I want to copy that and paste here. My credential equals MySQL host. No, it's not host. User is user, MySQL user, MySQL user. Similarly here, instead of my, I want to copy all of those and make it here. But it's not MySQL underscore user. If it is the password, then MySQL underscore password. So instead of this user, I want to have password and comma and host I need to have here host, comma, and port, then port, comma, and then database. Then I need to do database. Let's see if it is the case. Yeah, it is the database and port. Yeah, exactly. This is a variable available in this file, my credential. So this is a variable in my credentials. That variable holds the real value, securely saved in another file. And on my Python code, I want to import that file and link this user variable to the variable already defined in that the remote file, which is MySQL underscore user, password, host, port, database, so on and so forth. Okay. So that's what we talk about this. So to do that, this file, there's a file. That file contains the definition of the variables. So each of those variables can be used here in this connection, the credential informations. For user, I want to use this variable in that file that can be evaluated, and whatever the result of this evaluation will be assigned to these user variables. Similarly, password variables, host variables, and port and databases. Everything is possible. If I run this, still I have an error. You see why I have an error? Because this is not known. This module is not known. Although they are saved in the same database. Let's see if it's in my class. They are the same database. But this guy, where I am working on? I'm working on Pfizer. Pfizer does not know where I am. Pfizer, the basic idea here, in order to get the working directory, then we usually say import OS operating systems, and then we can also from path library and import path. I wanted to use this as is, okay? So this path module takes the file, this file, and then one level up, parent. Why? Because this path is pointing to this specific file. This specific file. But if I point this file, then I do not see other database, other files upper that ones. So I want to go back, parent, and get the cursor and print that directory. I want to change that directory, so everything should be in the same directory. The thing is this Python needs to understand this file is in the same directory where this Python itself. But if I run this here, then this guy says file itself is not identified because this file is not this Paizo think. When I run this in Paizo, then in the Paizo environment, this file is not the operating system files. So what I need to do here, I need to go back to the shell again. Okay, so where am I? cd mercy 525 in class 525, and then pwd 525 dbs cd in class, and then I have 424 in that directory, right? So if I run program db creation here, then this guy understands where I am. Okay, remember that here file is not defined because of this application program, Paizo. It's not the problem of this code itself. In this code, by having this all, I think this, physically, those two files are well recognized. If it is recognized, then this can be imported. Therefore, my credential can be identified and will be used to connect the database. Okay, so when I run this, I think it should work. I think it works so far. It is entered the database. Then what is the issue right now? I want to put this also here in this. Try exception handlings. Okay. I want to close this and then restart the shell. I want to go to the directory of that. Okay, Python db creation.py. I think this is something I need to reset the database because it is what I want to do. I want to reset. Okay, I reset my okay. So I am here as before. I think I need to when I run this, then the error here is unknown database CY 525. So when I come here, CY 525 is not available. From the beginning, therefore, database is not connected. So I remove this. Database is not initially connected, but as we come here, we didn't put any database. We access database only, and then we can choose a specific database. That's what I want to do here. Cursor, and then first thing that I want to see here, show database, and then later when this database, and later I can use that specific database and then create table. Okay, so I want to save this and then redo. Oh, yeah. Nicely worked, right? So database currently available is, there is no CY 525. So database is CY 525, it dropped. If it's not there, still okay. And 525 newly created. And schema, and then it is changed to the 525. And then here, therefore, database CY 525 is created. Previously, it was not there. And then company, here, company is created like that. So when I see here, use CY 525, and then show tables, then company is only created, and DSC company. Like here, I created cursor create table. When I come back here, create table, and I execute that create table expression, and then I execute description of that table, and then schema of that table is blah, 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 blah. That shows here. The schema of a table is blah, blah, blah. That can be seen here in real command line executions. Then I can have that. All right. So previously, why my database didn't respond? Two things. First of all, in Paizo, if I do this, then it'll only this portion is executed. But in the command line that I do here, it includes everything in the tables, in these files. Therefore, I have some other, before close the database, I have some other things is being waiting. There's one thing. The other one is, from the beginning, I try to see a specific database, therefore have then that error. So I remove that, and as we manually access the database, first we enter the database, and then we show the database. So I go through the steps that we usually do in command line database access. That's what I done here, and I want you to practice this. All right. Thank you.